Hey everyone, welcome to Pink Tutu Tarot. So we're going to look at what you can expect between now and the end of the year. How are things going to look? How are things going to go? And what's it going to look and feel like when you get to the end of this year? Now the timing for this, for most of you, it will be shortly after I post it, right? You'll find this, it'll be the few months between now and the end of the year. Others of you, it will be less time. Some of you, the year will have passed and it will be starting a new year, and so it will be more time. Doesn't matter, y'all. You're brought to these messages when you're meant to hear them. So just trust in it and take the messages in for what they are and when they are. It's timeless. All right, so I've got 3 groups for you and 3 cards. Group 1, your card is the Parrot Spirit. Parrot Spirit. Watch your words. Group 2 is the Wombat Spirit. Wombat Spirit. Be at home. And group 3 is the Scarab Beetle Spirit. Magic works through you. All right, so all you have to do now is choose the card, choose the group you want to watch, go down into the description box, click on the timestamp for that group, and it'll take you straight to your reading. Thanks, y'all. Hey, group 1. All right, today we are looking at what you can expect between now and the end of the year. So your initial card is Parrot Spirit, and it says, watch your words. I'm going to get a few more cards out, and then we'll talk about what you can expect between now and the end of the year. Now, if you're watching this sometime, well after I've posted it, don't worry. You're meant to get it when you find it. The messages are here for you at exactly the right time. All right, we have time for a nap. And happy, happy. Okay, you have the 6 of Cups. Ace of Wands. The Lovers. And one more, please. Okay, and then the 9 of Pentacles. Just going to pull a couple of Lenormand cards, and then we'll jump into your reading. I want to make sure we get a full picture of what you can expect here. Okay, we have the Fish. The Tree. And the Bouquet. Okay, give me just a second. I just want to take all these cards in. I'm going to listen for some initial messages from Spirit, and then we'll talk about everything that's going on here. Before I do, I'd just like to mention, if you're looking for a personal reading, a one-on-one reading that's meant just for you, not a general reading like this, you can check my website, pinktututarot.com. There's also a link down in the description box, and you can see what I have available there. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you do, please give it a thumbs up, drop me a comment, subscribe, whatever you feel called to do. Whenever you interact with my videos, it helps me know that our energies are connecting and that it's resonating with you. So thank you for that. All right, now give me just a sec and I will listen for some initial messages. Okay, thank you. They're telling me that between now and the end of the year, it's going to be a bit easier for you than it was before. So earlier in the year, you've had a bit of a rough going. You've had some ups and downs. It's not been all bad, but they're telling me that you've hit some obstacles. You've had definitely some challenges, and you've worked through them, but it wasn't easy. Between now and the end of the year, you can take a little bit of a deep breath. It's going to get a bit easier. They're saying this is in preparation for another busy year next year. So don't get too comfortable. But it's all good. It's all good. Let's talk about your Lenormand cards here first before we get into the others. Your first card is the Fish card, and you're coming into this time period really busy, right? You probably, if this is your reading, you either are very busy right now or you have been recently, whether it's been with work or responsibilities, things you've been having to do. You've been really going at it. You've been working very hard. You have been trying to accomplish something, maybe just trying to get through something, but things have been moving very quickly in that you have been moving very quickly. The progress you've wanted to see may not have been there yet. They're giving me a yet, but you've been putting in the work. You've definitely been putting in the work. Okay. Then we move into the tree energy, which this is you as you're heading into. If you're watching this as I post it, it's really just the last few months of the year. If you're watching it, later, you maybe have more or less time. But from now, you move toward this tree energy, which is you really enjoying some stillness, enjoying a little bit more stability than you have. It's not such a rush, 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 busy, 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 crazy, crazy, crazy. Fewer obstacles, right? You're going to feel a little bit more settled and calm. That doesn't mean your brain's not working. It doesn't mean that things aren't still spinning for you professionally, personally, within projects you're working on, whatever it may be. But it feels a bit calmer. It really does. By the end of the year, you have this bouquet energy. This is really happy energy. This is kind of a gift. It's like a gift from the universe, knowing that you have really gone through a challenging year. It may not have been the worst year of your life, because I don't feel that most of you had devastating circumstances this year, but you were put through some difficult challenges to overcome. You were faced with some lessons, you were faced with some obstacles, and you did it very, very well. So by the end of the year, the universe is gifting you something, and hopefully we'll find out more as we go along, to kind of help take you through into the next year. Okay. All right. So on the heels of that, kind of just looking at the beginning and the end here of where we are. You're starting out this period, this time period for you, with this time for a nap card. And you probably feel that with every fiber of your being. It's time for a nap. It's time to give yourself a break. You've been working hard. You've been on high alert. You've been trying to accomplish something. For all of you, it'll be something a little bit different, but I recognize that the feeling amongst you is going to be fairly similar in that, oh my God, you just need a break. You just need a break. The universe is coming in to say, okay, you can take a break now. It's all good. You've done what you needed to do. Take a break. And by the end of the year, you have happy, happy. This is great news. This is huge news. This is whatever is coming in is so positive and brilliant, and it makes it feel like the rest of what you went through this year was absolutely worth it. You're going to feel very proud of yourself. You're going to feel very accomplished. You're going to feel really, really, really good. So that's wonderful news. Okay. All right, so we'll talk about the tarot cards. They want to hit the Parrot card last for you guys, so we'll start here with the Six of Cups. Absolutely, they're noting on here the top of the card, it says pleasure, and they're wanting you to know that this is a time now when you can take a deep breath, enjoy yourself a little bit more, enjoy your family, your friends, your loved ones, maybe take a holiday. Some of you I do see going on a holiday, on a vacation, enjoying some free time, some me time. Even if you aren't going anywhere, you may even take like a staycation where you don't go far from home, but you get out of your ordinary environment and you just enjoy a little bit of pleasure. Allow yourself to do that because you need it. You need it. Even if you tell yourself, I can keep going hard, hard, hard. The universe is telling you you've done the work. Take a break now. Take a break now. You've earned it. Your next card here is the Ace of Wands. And what they're giving me here is once you take this break, right? That you take this nap, you go on this holiday, you give yourself some time away, even if it's just a short time, a long weekend, you give yourself some time away from the responsibilities, from the work, from the pressure, from the stress. You're going to find yourself getting re-inspired. It's going to reignite your fire, your inner fire, reignite that light that you have about you, that motivation you have to get you through whatever it is you do. It may be your job, it may be your business, it may be some side projects, it may be taking care of your family. I don't know what it is for you, but once you take this break and you give yourself a chance to just shut down and put it all to the side for a bit, you will come back re-inspired and re-energized, and you may even have some new ideas come in, which will be very, very beneficial going forward. And then we have the Lover's card. Now, let me just hear what they're saying about this Lover's card. They're giving me two messages about this Lover's card. One is that by giving yourself a break and allowing yourself to get re-inspired, you're going to find yourself feeling more committed than ever to what you want, to your goals, to what you want to achieve. Doesn't mean you have to go after it this year. It just means you're mentally and emotionally and physically getting yourself committed to it. But they're also telling me that many of you are coming into contact with, this is not everybody, someone, a person who is going to change your life in some way. Now, this could be a romantic relationship, does not have to be. Could be somebody that you end up working with. It could be somebody that helps you get re-inspired, reignite that fire of yours. It is a bit of a faded relationship. You know, of course, for some of you, it will be romantic, but for many of you, it won't. And this doesn't even have to be for everyone because this is also a card of commitment and of putting yourself in a position to go all in once again, you know. Again, they're telling me not yet. Give yourself more time. Just because you are re-inspired and recommitted doesn't mean that you have to jump in with both feet immediately. You can take your time and ease back into it. But this would be a time for coming up with ideas, for drafting, you know, maybe a list of things you want to do in the new year, or projects you want to take on, or new directions you want to take. By the end of the year, you have here the Nine of Pentacles and gain. This is, again, this gift from the universe. If you notice, this person on the card is also holding a bouquet of flowers. It is a gift from the universe, but it's not like a blind gift. This is a gift you've earned, right? It's not just something that drops out of the sky. It's something that you've worked for, and you're finally getting what you deserve. For many of you, it will be financially related, but it doesn't have to be. It could be any number of rewards that is meaningful to you, So get ready for that. Get prepared for that. Enjoy that. All right. Your final card here is Parrot Spirit. And the first thing they want me to talk about is how colorful and happy this parrot looks. That's how you should be feeling as you get closer and closer to the end of the year. Yes, you need a break. Yes, you need to shut down for a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's really, really important that you do. But once you are revived again, you're going to find yourself re-energized. You're going to find new color and new life in whatever it is you're doing or working on or working toward. They're also drawing my attention here to watch your words. It's not a warning. It's a message of potential. They're giving me this message that for many of you, there is a writing project in the future for you. And this is one of those things that may come up after you reset a little bit. Now, when I say a writing project, it could be, you start writing a blog, you start writing a newspaper article or column, you start writing a book, you start writing a script. It could be any number of things, but it could also be, it isn't necessarily just written communication. It can be speech writing, it can be giving a seminar, it can be starting a podcast. So your spoken words as well as your written words. They're saying watch your words, not as a warning, like watch your words, don't make a mistake. That's not it at all. It's talking about how the parrot is learning to speak, right? That's what they do. They learn to speak. And as you go through the end of this year, that starts to come true for you as well in some way. Now, for some of you, it may be you just learn to speak up. You learn to speak up for yourself. You learn to speak your truth. You learn to put yourself out there more. You learn to be more present and more vocal. But for many, many, many of you, I'm getting from many of you, this is literally the beginnings of a project where you are writing or speaking your own words. Your own words. So keep that in mind, give it some thought, put it in your back pocket, because it may just be the thing that sets off that light bulb between now and the end of the year. All right, group one, that's what I have for you. I hope that helps. I hope it inspires you. And I hope more than anything that you take this time off to reset, relax, shut the world out, and just enjoy yourself and come into the end of the year feeling happier than ever. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Hey, group two. All right, today we're going to take a look at what you can expect between now and the end of the year. So your initial card is card number 68. It's Wombat Spirit, and it says, be at home. I'll leave that right there for a minute while we pull the rest of your cards, and then we'll get into your reading. Okay. We have Round and Round. And Not for You. Okay. Get some tarot cards down. Now keep in mind, if you're watching this, shortly after I post it, you're looking at a few months between now and the end of the year, but you may be watching it at a different time. Could be less than that, could be, more than that. Trust the timing. Trust the timing. You were brought to this video, to this reading, to these messages exactly when you needed to hear them. Okay. Okay. First card is Seven of Pentacles. The High Priestess. The Empress. and the moon. Okay, and then we'll just get some Lenormand cards and make sure we get a full picture of what you can expect. Have the key, the bouquet, and the house. Okay. All right, give me just a sec. I'm going to take these cards in and I'm going to listen for some initial messages for you from Spirit. And then we'll talk about what's going on here. Before I do, I just want to mention that if you would like a personal reading, one that's just about you, not a general reading like this, you can check my website, pink22tarot.com, or there's also a link down below. And you can see what I have available there. I do offer private readings. Otherwise, if this reading resonates with you, if it helps you in any way, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. Drop me a comment down below. Just helps me know that our energies are connecting and that the reading resonated. So thank you for that. All right, now give me just a sec. I'm going to listen for some initial messages for you. They're telling me that you've been on a bit of a journey. I'm feeling before this, before this time period, earlier in this year, but even beyond that, you've been on a bit of a journey. That may be physically, you may have been traveling. It might be, you've been learning something new, or you've just gone through some different things that have helped you as a person evolve in some way. They're telling me it's becoming time for you to come back full circle to where you started, in a sense that may or may not be literal, but you're going to be coming around full circle to where you started so that you can realize just how far you have come. So you're going to be going back to something in some way. We'll learn more as we get into the cards, but it won't be the same person. You are not the same person you were when you started this journey. And so when you go back to this situation, this place, this person, whatever it may be, it's going to become crystal clear that you have changed in a good way. You've evolved. You've become a different and better version of yourself that perhaps doesn't resonate with that old life anymore. But sometimes you need to see it and experience it in order to really, really have that sink in. All right, so let's look at your cards. Your first card here, Lenormand card, is the key. They're telling me you've been looking for something. Maybe you know what it is, maybe you don't. Sometimes we end up on a journey where we're really looking for ourselves, we're searching for ourselves, but it feels like we're looking for something else, looking for our purpose, looking for a job, looking for our soulmate, looking for a home, whatever it may be for you. You've been looking for something. And as time has gone by, you've gotten closer and closer to starting to realize what that something is, but maybe it isn't quite crystal clear with you yet. What they're telling me is that the real message here has been in the journey, not in the solution, not in what you find at the end, but what you have experienced along the way. Okay. You then move into this bouquet energy, which is really happy energy. This is a gift. This is a gathering of all the things you have experienced, all the positives, the negatives, the colorful, the not so colorful, the happy, the bleak, putting them together in one beautiful, like wildflower bouquet, and realizing that when you can step back and look at all of it, it's actually quite nice. This is really just a time of reflection, of looking back and realizing how far you've come and really how great it's been. And it brings you some happiness. It really does. So enjoy that. And then we have the house card. And this is where you go back to where you began. Now, for some of you, literally, this is going back home. This is, meeting up with someone that you knew before you started this journey. This could be, it could be any number of things. You have to think about where you were. I'm going to say 1 to 2 years ago. Where were you then? Who were you then? And how did that feel? In some way, you're going to revisit that and see if it still feels like home to you. I'm venturing to guess that it will not feel like home anymore, but for all of you, it will be different. Either way, you are different because you've really gone through quite a bit between, the last couple of years. You've experienced a lot. You've changed a lot. But there's parts of your life that have not changed. And so when you go back to revisit them, and I'll just use the example of going back home, like maybe you've been away from your family for a while and you go back home and you realize they're very much the same. The situation's the same, the home is the same, the city is the same, but everything feels different to you because you're not the same. You've changed. That's just an example. It doesn't have to be that. It could be you run into an ex, and maybe this is someone you've thought about here and there throughout the year, and you run into them and you realize, yeah, there's no draw anymore, I no longer have to have any connection with you, because I've moved on, where maybe before you hadn't quite. It could be a job that you regret leaving or a job that you were let go from, and you reconnect with somebody from that job and you realize you were very, very lucky to have left there, even though there may have been times throughout the year and beyond that you questioned whether it was the right thing or not. So consider those kinds of things because that's really where this is going for you. Now this is kind of your beginning and your end here of this time period now and the end of the year. Round and round. You're going to be returning. You're going back to something. But at this point right now, you're still on the journey. You're still on the journey. You may not realize you're on the journey back to something, but you are. And when you get there, by the end of the year, you're going to realize that what you used to have, what you used to want, what you used to regret losing, maybe, or leaving, you're going to realize you don't want it anymore anyway. That it's not for you anymore. You're going to realize that whatever happened that drew you away from this person, place, or situation, this job, whatever it may be, whatever pulled you away and sent you on another path, it's probably one of the best things that's happened to you, at least this year, or whenever it happened, because it's really not for you. And if you notice on this card, you have a fortune cookie. There is a secret fortune here in this message. That isn't for you, but what you will realize or start to realize by the end of this year is what is for you. You'll crack open that fortune cookie and read the message, obviously symbolically, not really. But you'll get the message that, yeah, I don't need that anymore. I don't want that anymore. But guess what? This is what I do want. And that's when you get to move forward, truly move forward, because you no longer have any doubts or questions or regrets or guilt that that may have been popping up for you, since you started this journey. All right, so your first card here is the Seven of Pentacles. And at the top of the card, it does say failure, if you can read that. They're telling me coming into this time period that you have had bouts of feeling like you were a failure over this past, time period, before now, the rest of the year. There have been times when you've doubted whether you made the right decision. There have been times when you've wondered if you didn't just royally mess up. make a big, big mistake. But you kept going. With the Seven of Pentacles, you kept going. You're waiting for the answer to come in. Because although you may have had moments where you thought, what did I do? The reality is you were still being called forward, right? There was still part of you that said, I gotta keep going. Because your next card here is the High Priestess, and the High Priestess is absolutely saying you're on the right path. You didn't make a mistake. There is a guidance out there that's intelligent, that knows you as well or better than you know yourself, that understands what you need and want. And while sometimes you may have felt like an absolute failure, like you just absolutely screwed up and ruined your life or ruined a relationship or left a job you should have kept or whatever it may be, the High Priestess is coming in to say, no, all of that was meant to happen. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And you're going to start to realize that between now and the end of the year. And then you move into the Empress energy. You know, you go from the 2 to the 3. Once you realize, oh, yeah, you know what? This really has been good for me. This has been a difficult, a challenging journey, but I have evolved. I have become more than I was, different than I was. And that's when you start to embrace this Empress energy. The Empress energy is all about new beginnings. It's fertile. She's about to give birth to something new. And so are you. So are you. You're about to give birth to a new you, a new life, a life that no longer regrets the decisions you made in the past. Because you now see where it has led. And you now see with some clarity what you left behind. Because your final card here, your final tarot card is the Moon. Bringing in some clarity. Yes, you've been through some darkness. You've been through some confusion. You know, you've seen the shadows in the dark and gotten scared, you know, just like you've seen the decisions you've made and been devastated because you thought, what did I do? You know, that you made a mistake, that the results weren't what you expected. It didn't go as you thought it would. But by the end of the year, clarity comes in and you realize this all happened absolutely for a reason, and it was the reason is you. It's your best you, 100%. So your last card here, the Wombat spirit, be at home. It's talking about how you are again returning home to something. Returning literally to a home, returning to family, bumping into someone that you've, you know, had lingering regrets about, guilty feelings, doubts about what happened. You know, you come across somebody from an old job, you go back to a city you used to live in that you thought, why did I ever leave? Whatever it is for you. You're going back to an old version of you. You're bumping into yourself in the past in some way. And you're going to find out that even though you've had some moments of longing for that past, you're going to see that that is no longer home for you. That where you are right now, this is home. You are home. What you're doing is your new home. You know, in essence, it is your new right place. It is where you belong. You're gonna realize that no matter what doubts you've had and what has gone on since you started this journey, that every step of the way you have been moving forward, and you now are a very different person than you used to be, and the world will start to look differently because of it. And you're going to start appreciating really just how far you've come and what you've accomplished. So enjoy that group too. I hope that helps. I know that's a little bit woo-woo, this one, but it still feels very, very important. So I hope you all got out of it what you were meant to get out of this. So thank you so much for being here, y'all. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, group 3. Okay, today we're looking at what you can expect between now and the end of the year. So your initial card is card number 52, and it's the Scarab Beetle Spirit, and it says magic works through you. I'm going to leave that there while we get the rest of your cards up. And I just want to mention, of course, that If you're watching this, right after I post it, there's a few months between now and the end of the year, but you may be watching it at a different time. So it could be less time between now and the end of the year, or it might, be more time. So trust the messages when you find them. I believe that Spirit brings us to the readings, to the messages, to what we need to know when we need to know it. So in that way, it's timeless. Okay. Your first card is Fork in the Road. And TikTok. Okay, let's get some tarot cards down. Your first card is the Four of Swords. And you have the Emperor. The Hermit. And the Lovers. A lot of major arcana cards coming out for you and for really for all the readings, I think. It's interesting. It's been a big year, I think, for everybody. In different ways, obviously, but it's been a kind of a transformational year. All right, we're going to get a few Lenormand cards out, and then we'll jump into your reading. All right. First, you have the Lady. Then the Tree. And finally, the House. Okay, give me just a second while I take all these cards in. I'm going to listen for some initial messages for you from Spirit, and then we'll talk about what's going on here. Before I do, I just want to mention that if you would like a personal reading, if you'd like something that's one-on-one, just about you, not a general reading like this, then you can check out my website, pink22tarot.com, and see what I have available there. There's also a link down below in the description box. Otherwise, if this reading resonates with you, if it's helpful to you in any way, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up or drop me a comment down below. It just helps me know that our energies are connecting and that the reading was resonating with you. So thank you for that. All right, give me 1 sec. I'm going to listen for some messages for you, and then we'll move into the cards. Hold on 1 sec. They're telling me that right now, if this is your reading, and this may have gone on before this exact moment as well, but they're telling me that you're having moments where you're wondering whether you should give up. There's something that you've been working on or something you've been doing. You're not seeing the progress you wanted to see. You may not even be feeling the same about it that you did, when you started it, whatever this is. This may be a business. This may be a personal project. This may be a job. It could be anything. But there's part of you that is wondering, should I give up? And it's because you're worn out. You're worn out from trying so hard to make something happen and not seeing the results you were hoping for. So if that resonates with you in any way, then this reading is for you. If it doesn't resonate, check one of the other readings or stick around because there may still be some messages for you that you're meant to hear, even if the whole reading isn't entirely for you. All right, so let's jump into the cards. Your first card is the Lady. And what they're bringing to my attention here is in this particular Lady card, and there's two ladies in this deck, The lady on this card looks very poor. She's an example of Cinderella before she was whipped up by the fairy godmother. So she looks very poor. She's raggedy. She's run down. She's tired, right? She's tired. She's worked to the bone and has nothing to show for it. And they're telling me in some way and in your own way, that's kind of where you are right now. Like you're feeling that. You're feeling like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. What's the point? If you find yourself saying something along those lines or feeling that way, um, they're telling me have a little bit more faith because something is about to come in that's going to change your mind. And with this tree energy, they're telling me what's coming in. Oh, they're saying it's a rebirth. It's a rebirth. It's like when the trees, and the leaves all fall in the fall and the tree kind of goes dormant. And then in the spring, all these new leaves and buds come out. They're saying this is a time when you're feeling like you are going dormant, like you've lost all your leaves, you've lost all your petals. You're knackered, you're done. But they're saying have some faith and trust a little bit longer because there is something beautiful here happening. There's something that is about to come to fruition that is going to have you feeling richer, fuller, more rooted, more grounded, more stable, and healthier in some way. Healthier. They just gave me that word, healthier. Some of you may be on, like a health journey where you've been trying really hard to gain weight, lose weight, build muscle, whatever it may be, get healthier, just healthier. And you may feel like your efforts have gone, by the wayside. Like you've not seen the progress you expected. That's about to change. So have faith a little bit longer because they are giving me, for many of you, it is a feeling of feeling healthier. For some of you, you're just worn out. You're just fatigued, but you're going to start feeling better. And then you move into this house energy, which is how you're going to feel by the end of the year. Very stable, happy. That feeling you have when you've been on vacation, and vacation is exciting, but it's busy and it's exhausting, and you finally get home and you get to sleep in your own bed and sit on your own sofa. That feeling of, oh, this is everything. They're giving me that feeling. By the end of the year, you're gonna stop feeling quite so run down, and you're gonna finally feel like you're in the right place at the right time. Things feel comfortable, things feel good, things come together in a way that has you feeling on top of the world. And they're showing me in my mind's eye right now, they're showing me this house not as this little cottage in the woods, although that might be your dream house, but they're showing it to me in this beautiful castle, meaning there's something bigger coming for you. And they're encouraging you to just continue believing. Don't lose the magic. Don't lose the magic. Okay? These down here. All right, so let's talk about these two cards. We have the fork in the road and tick-tock. Fork in the road represents where you are now. You're just wondering whether you should keep going. Should you keep doing whatever it is you're doing? Should you keep following down this path? Should you keep pursuing this goal? Or should you either just give up, or should you do something different? It may not be a constant thing going on in your head, but it does hit you often enough that you're just wondering if you're on the right path at all and whether you should be doing something different. By the end of the year, we have this tick-tock card for you. Now let me just listen. I want to hear exactly what they want to say to you about this. Hold on one second. They're saying the clock is ticking to something good. It's a countdown. And they're showing me right now, New Year's Eve when the ball drops. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen on New Year's Eve, so don't take it that way. But it's that countdown. There is a countdown. It is about to happen. It won't happen exactly at the end of the year. Time doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. But between now and the end of the year, you're going to move away from this energy of wondering if you're on the wrong path, if you're doing the wrong thing or the right thing, or whether you should give up. And you're going to move into this energy of knowing it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before everything changes for the better. and it is for the better. They're showing me that things are going to explode for you in a good way, in a good way, in the way that you have been hoping. So hang on to that belief just a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. It's coming for you. All right, so your first tarot card here is the Four of Swords. You're over it. You're absolutely over it, and I get it. You're done thinking about it. You're done worrying about it. You're done stressing about it. You want somebody to tell you what to do at this point, most likely, right? Like somebody to say, yeah, keep going, or what are you doing? Do something else. You're on the wrong path. Move on. They're coming through to tell you you're on the right path. Keep going. You've got this. Magic is happening. Might not be happening fast enough for you. Might not be happening easily enough for you, but it is happening. Because you move from there into the Emperor energy, this is stepping up big time. You're going from a Four of Swords to a Four Major Arcana, meaning you go from feeling weak and tired to feeling like you're on top of the world. Again, you're ruling your own world. Like you have created your own magic. You've created your own life. You've manifested something that has you feeling on top of your game. From there, you move into the Hermit energy. Let me just hear what they want to say about this. Bear with me one sec. They're telling me the experience you have gained through all the struggles and challenges you've been through. It's going a little bit unnoticed at the moment, right now. But you're quickly going to boss up. You're quickly going to step into a new level of, no, I've got this kind of energy. I've got this. And your experience, you're going to realize that what you've gone through, what you've done, what you've learned, you're going to see how invaluable it is. And you're going to realize that the path that you're on is exactly the right path. The Hermit knows. Can't see very far into the future, but he still knows he's on the right path. And there is no question in his mind, because he's learned the hard way how to recognize the signs when things are really wrong or things are just challenging. And so you're going to keep going. You're going to keep going. Because your final card here is the Lovers, and that's you fully committed. That's you knowing that it is just a matter of time before everything manifests. Everything comes together. Everything explodes in the most positive way. So you're fully committed. You're engaged. You're married. You're off on the honeymoon. To whatever it is that you've been working toward. You want this. By the end of the year, you're going to realize that there's no shaking this. That it's no longer a question of should I or shouldn't I? Am I on the right path? No, you're going to know. You're going to absolutely know. You want this more than anything, and you know you can get it. You know it's just a matter of time. Because it is. It is. So your final card here, the Scarab Beetle Spirit. Magic works through you. That word magic keeps coming up, keeps coming up. I keep being given it that word magic because it is a bit of magic here. Yes, you've been tested. Yes, you've had challenges. Yes, you've had to learn some things the hard way. And yes, there have been times when you've thought, I just want to give up. I'm wasting my time. What am I doing? But you didn't, and you're not going to. Not if you're hearing this message and it's resonating with you. You know you're on the right path. You just have to keep believing a little bit longer. The magic is in you and it works through you. And as you believe, as you commit, as you boss up and walk that path of the Hermit, you know you're doing the right thing and that it's just a matter of time before everything changes for the better for you. So hang in there, hang in there. Is this going to be a really transformative, magical time between now and the end of the year for you? So you've got this, y'all. All right, group 3, I hope that helps. I hope it gives you what you need to kind of keep going because this is going to be really, really good for you and I'm excited for you. So So thanks so much for being here and have a great day, y'all. Bye-bye.